Greetings and welcome to this, the first of what I hope will be many Sociable Dog video explainers on how behaviour works and how animal learning works. And today we're going to be talking about learning by association. And so we're calling this A predicts B. Welcome back. Right, we're going back to the 19th century, the late 19th century, and to a Russian scientist called Ivan Pavlov. Here he is. Now, Ivan Pavlov was working on digestion. That's what he was studying, and he was using dogs to do that, and he stumbled across a principle that, in conjunction with operant conditioning, which we'll come to in a later video, formed the bedrock of behaviour science, and for us, animal behaviour science. What he discovered was beautifully simple, and it changed everything. It changed everything forever. So what did Ivan discover that was so important? Well, whenever he rang a bell, or some reports make it a metronome, or it might have been a tuning fork, or in any case, he sounded some kind of tone. And a few seconds later, food was delivered to the dogs in the cages that he was using for his research. And over time, as this was repeated over and over again, the dogs started to associate the sound of the bell with the delivery of the food, and they would start to salivate when the bell sounded. A predicts B, right? A, the bell, predicts B, the food. And in many ways, in later experiments and later work, Ivan Pavlov started to focus on this stuff, which essentially he was looking at how the body physiologically and physically responded to a given stimulus as a spontaneous and involuntary response. We in animal behaviour science are now able to use that principle and that concept to change the emotional response an animal has to a situation. Now, we see the effects of Pavlovian or respondent or classical conditioning in our everyday routines with our dogs. If, for example, when you take the lead off the hook in the hallway and you start tying up your boots, your dog gets excited, it's because he's learned the sequence that you go through before a walk. Now, that can be negative too. So dogs can learn the sequences approaching things that they don't like. For example, if your dog doesn't like baths or showers, you can bet your life that when you get the shampoo out and collect the towel from the rail and you organise things in the bathroom and then grab the lead for that purpose, the dog's going to know that that sequence means a bath. And if they don't like it, you're going to find them hard to find. Let's look at an example of this. Right, imagine if your dog absolutely loves steak. Okay, he loves steak, but he doesn't like strangers. Now, he loves the steak anyway. He hasn't learned to love it. It's just intrinsic in him. If every time your dog sees a stranger, he gets a lovely juicy piece of steak, he's going to learn a relationship between the two. That every time a stranger appears, he gets juicy steak. And so he develops this association, this involuntary response. We're looking for this involuntary, spontaneous response to the person because they predict steak. If you do this right, and you do it incrementally and carefully, and you ensure that the dog stays under their fear threshold all the time as you go through the process, they're going to learn that strangers mean good stuff. Now, there's some things that are important here. We have to consider the order of events for one thing. You know, A has to predict B. You can't have it the other way round, and you can't have them coming together. But we'll talk about that in future videos when we really burrow down. So, apart from getting loyalty points with our butcher, and doubtless getting a very positive conditioned emotional response from him every time we walk through the door, A predicts B. Making positive associations between one thing and another helps to make fearful dogs feel better about their world. We help fearful dogs in this way learn that the world is fundamentally safe. Thank you very much for joining me on this first Sociable Dog video explainer, where we've looked at the contribution of Ivan Pavlov to the whole concept of behaviour science. Next time we're going to do operant conditioning, which is learning by consequences. See you then. By the way, if you want to, you can subscribe and all of that.